Headlines screamed across news tickers, trucks idled for miles, a river of red halted at the United States border. We are talking about tomatoes, millions of them. Shipments from Mexico, once a steady flow, were suddenly being turned away. The official story was complex, a web of regulations and inspections, but beneath the surface something bigger was brewing. The United States cited food safety concerns. They pointed to the discovery of specific pests, like the tomato brown rugose fruit virus. A single microscopic threat could quarantine an entire region's exports. On paper, it all sounded perfectly reasonable. For years, United States tomato growers, particularly in Florida, have complained. They argue that Mexican producers have an unfair advantage. They say Mexico subsidizes its agriculture, allowing farmers to sell tomatoes at prices below production cost. This practice, known as dumping, is illegal under international trade law. With the door to the United States market partially closed, Mexico did not panic. It pivoted. The country's agricultural exporters had contingency plans. They looked elsewhere, turning attention to markets hungry for their produce. Europe and Asia became prime targets. The results were astonishing. Mexico began signing massive multi-billion-dollar deals, building new long-term trade relationships. In months, Mexico diversified its export portfolio in a way that would have otherwise taken a decade. This shift was a masterclass in economic agility. On one side, you have John, a multi-generational tomato grower in Florida. His family has farmed the same sandy soil for a century, battling hurricanes, pests, and unpredictable frosts. He sees trucks of Mexican tomatoes selling for prices he can't match. To him, this is about survival, preserving a way of life. In Sinaloa, Mexico, Elena manages a vast greenhouse operation. The climate is perfectly controlled, with computers monitoring water, nutrients, and sunlight. Her tomatoes grow on vines 20 feet high, untouched by soil-borne diseases. Elena sees her work as the future of agriculture, efficient, sustainable, producing perfect products year-round. The journey of a single tomato reveals the intricate web of global supply chain. From Elena's greenhouse, it's hand-picked, washed, sorted by optical scanners, and packed with a barcode passport. Loaded onto refrigerated trucks at constant cool temperature, it begins its journey north to the US border, where the drama begins. If it passes inspection, it continues to massive distribution centers, intersecting with thousands of products from around the world in a mind-bogglingly complex logistics network. Finally arriving at local supermarkets, a shopper picks it up, unaware of the incredible journey. The greenhouses, packing houses, border inspections, and distribution centers. This trade drama has real consequences. In the United States, restricted Mexican tomato supply drives up supermarket prices. For families on tight budgets, this is not trivial. The entire ecosystem around imported produce suffers. Trucking companies, warehouse operators, importers, food processors, and restaurants all feel the pinch. In Mexico, border shutdowns devastate agricultural workers. The tomato industry employs hundreds of thousands in well-paying jobs by local standards. However, the pivot to global markets creates new opportunities. Influx of capital from Europe and Asia fuels an agricultural boom, creating jobs and fostering national pride. How did Mexico turn crisis into opportunity? First, technology. Mexican growers invested billions in protected agriculture, massive greenhouses and hydroponic systems controlling every variable. Second, diversification. They focused on specialty varieties, sweet grape tomatoes, colorful heirlooms, flavorful beefsteaks, high-margin products appealing to discerning consumers and chefs. Third, branding and certification. They aggressively pursued international certifications for food safety and social responsibility, building global brands synonymous with quality and reliability. Finally, aggressive government-supported marketing. The Mexican government acted as partner, organizing trade missions, funding international participation, and negotiating trade agreements. This US-Mexico tomato drama permanently reshaped the global market. Mexico established deep trade routes to Europe, Asia, and Middle East, long-term contracts and strategic partnerships. Even if the US completely opened borders tomorrow, Mexican exporters wouldn't abandon these markets. They've learned diversification's value, facing a more globally connected, better capitalized competitor. This signals a new era in global trade, more complex, competitive, and unpredictable. It will likely lead to new trade agreements focusing on harmonizing regulations and standardizing inspection protocols. The humble tomato has become a global citizen, representing changing economic power. This story shows how smaller nations can leverage technology to challenge established giants, redrawing the map of global trade.